This is He Knows His Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping a foot on the what? On the next. We keeping a foot on the what? On the next. Let's get on to it, man. LeBron James. And the prediction king strikes again. And the prediction king strikes again. I told y'all. This dude right here is a Class A narcissist at his truest and his most properest levels. Let me say it again. He's a Class A narcissist at his truest and his most properest levels. Why are you sitting here talking about you and Donald Trump? Donald Trump is a truth teller, contrary to what people think. Love, hate, or don't like the guy, he's a truth teller. He's always going to tell you what's on his mind. And in this instance, I know this is going to offend some people and it's going to make some people feel some type of way. But when does He Knows His Sport give a flying you-know-what about what people think? Let me say it again. When does He Knows His Sport give a flying you-know-what about what people think? Donald Trump is right here. Because all Donald Trump said is he's not going to be paying attention to no damn basketball. Why do you have to be a Class A narcissist and take the bait and jump? Why do you have to do that? It's just basically one egomaniac dealing with another egomaniac. Let me say it again. One egomaniac dealing with another egomaniac. Two narcissists. And they're two narcissists at an extreme level. The issue is LeBron James only attacks issues after the fact. This is what 27th law of power is. This is why I told you this is the only 48 laws of power that he's mastered, because the other 47, he's allergic to that. He's not intellectually inclined enough to handle the other 47th law of power. So he has to govern himself by that 27th law of power. It's called the cult-like following. It's a cult-like following. It's to develop a cult. LeBron only gets socially justice aware when it suits his needs. Let me say it again. LeBron only gets socially justice aware when it suits his needs. In this instance, it suited his need. Because if you notice, he's attacked the Drew Brees of the world. He's attacked the Donald Trumps of the world. That's the typical of him to do that. Let me say it again. He's attacked the Drew Brees of the world. He attacked the Donald Trumps of the world. That's the typical of him to do that. But what about having a radicalized movement of saying the NBA shutdown is something that we have to get behind, like Kyrie Irving did, like Avery Bradley did? Where were you when it was time to showcase that? Where were you when it was time to be that trailblazer? Let me say it again. Where were you when it was time for you to be that trailblazer? Shout out to I Love This Game, because I'm using her terminology. Where were you? Why didn't you trailblaze the situation? Where were you when it was time to tell the NBA, you know what? We're dealing with a global pandemic right now. The positive tests are surging like nobody's business. There's not a cure in sight. It doesn't make sense for us to have a mundane thing like basketball. Where were you, LeBron James? You were nowhere to be found. So in the cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat two-teller fashion, LeBron does what LeBron always does. And you know what that is? He's nowhere to be found. He's a little mouse when pressure arises. But when it suits him for his purpose, he's going to get after the typical situations that he always does. In this instance, if you guys are using what we call the true basketball eye test, you can decipher that Donald Trump is actually the right person here in the scenario. He's telling a truth that everybody else is talking about. This is a fanless experience. Why does anybody care about this stuff? Only those who don't see the bigger picture, that don't see the fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title that Donald Trump could clearly see, because he operates at a presidential level. There's no more conspiracy than that. Let me say it again. He operates as a presidential level. There's no more conspiracy than that. So he's going to know the ugly truths that's associated behind sports. And this nonsense of the least path of resistance NBA title. We have to look at the cold-hearted, the unadulterated, and the cutthroat two-teller fashion. And what we see here is LeBron James only piggybacks off the situations that fits his Class A narcissism needs. And you have LBJ apologists, LBJ Brigade, LBJ Riders Media, and LBJ Stance that eat this thing up, because they are deluded and they are what we call brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo heads, because they have been ingratiated or embedded theology or embedded theology by what? NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. LeBron James, I don't want to hear anything that you have to say. At this point, you get the biggest what? Higgity hush of the fucking day. And if anybody's really deciphering this situation, you could see the delineation and the distinction on who's right here. In this instance, Donald Trump is actually right. And in this instance, LeBron James needs to what? Lahiggity fucking hush. This is Hino's Sport, checking out.